Yo, it's your boy Opally, and today we'll just be doing yet another My Hero What If. This is what if Deku had a lightning quirk. I don't know. So basically, Deku would have a lightning quirk, and how the lightning quirk would work would be called Accelerate. It would basically accelerate every single part of his body. So he can use it in one part of his arm, and his arm would look like it's spinning out of time, basically. And he can accelerate his healing. And since of him using his quirk to become a hero, he would actually be a lot taller, so it would accelerate his height. So Deku is not as Deku as we know from the first episode. So yeah, he's more confident and him and Bakugo, I guess they're rivals, but it's kind of one-sided because there's no reason for Deku to actually be his rival this time because, he wasn't bullied by him, so it didn't even matter. So it's a whole one-sided rivalry, basically. So this would all, the story would start around the time of middle school. Then the teacher would be like, "Oh, what do you want to do when y'all grow up?" And he just froze the papers. Yeah, I just want to become heroes. And everybody started using their quirk. Deku started flaring up in electricity, and Bakugo makes his statement. And somebody else in the class says, "Well, actually, Izuku can probably beat you, so he can get in too." And that makes Bakugo mad, so he don't have that. So now Bakugo want to fight Deku. So, the teacher's like, "I don't even care anymore. So it's the last day. Just go outside." So they go outside off of school properties to a park. And, they're about to do this fight. So they would put down their book bags and they would be standoffish. Just standing and looking at each other. And Bakugo would say, "I'm gonna beat you." And then he said, "Oh, I like to see you try," like they all do. So, Bakugo would start using his explosion quirk. So he would put it behind him so he can try to fly up. And once he's in the air, he would use a big explosion to hit Deku right in his face. Deku, midway through this, he would basically grab Bakugo's leg and shoot electricity for it. Basically, just shooting electricity for it. He just shocked him. Just shocked his whole body. So now he's in the air getting shocked or whatever. And Deku would just be laughing at this point because he tried. He really did try. And Bakugo be getting mad, so he would call up his goons and try to jump. So there is a crowd of kids. There's obviously that one kid. "Oh, stop this. Oh, yeah, stop, please, stop." And, there's this. It just don't even matter at this point. Let's just say Bakugo's kind of getting clapped. And Bakugo gets his goons to try to jump, and that's what they do. So Deku just speeds up the electricity in his legs to basically, he just used electricity in his legs to make himself faster. So he's running to all 10 of Bakugo's goons. And he just kicks one straight in the stomach. Grab ones by the neck, shocks him through the neck, and trip him and push him, and just punch one. And now at this point, he's just going for Bakugo. He don't even care about the rest of them. So Bakugo was right on a brick wall. Bakugo would move out the way from the kick from Deku. and this kick from Deku broke the brick wall. Deku didn't do anything. Deku didn't felt like it looked like he didn't even feel it. So he just speed jumped right off the wall and just started like. At this point, he's kind of looking like this with the electricity around him. So he's pretty much fighting Bakugo. And Bakugo, he's getting kind of scared because every time he look away, he's seeing every single one of his goons getting bodied. Like, bro, there was 10, and now there's 8, and now there's 3. Like, come on, like, what's going on here? So Bakugo is only left with two goons. And Deku's like, okay, so you brought your team with you, and you're not gonna even do teamwork. And Bakugo gets mad and says, like, shut up, bro. Like, I don't want to hear it. I'm just trying to beat you up. So, they both try to fight again with the goons intervening and try to, fight Deku. And, the goons get clapped real quick. And, Bakugo uses, the biggest explosion he can muster from all of his power. So, and this would hit Deku like right in the face, and people would think that he fucking died. As people were slowly walking up to him, they would feel this immense power, and every person that walked up to him would just fall out. Then they would just see blue strikings coming towards Deku. Deku would ascend into the air. And he would open his eyes. And his eyes it's just a full lightning. And he was making it cloudy. And there's thunderbolts coming from his thunderbolts during this fight too. So as Deku will put his hand out behind him, they're like, what is he doing? And as a thunderbolt, he would grab it and pretty much fly straight down to Bakugo. And he would try to hit Bakugo with this thunderbolt. And he would miss, luckily. And as as this happens, as he missed, the thunderbolts hit a brick wall, burns a tree down, and mayhem is pretty much caused. So it would alert other people. So police are called. And they dipped the shit out of there, bro. They dipped. So you know what they did? They dipped. Deku, pretty much with this power, he would fall out and he would be the only person there. People really not thinking that he did it because just somehow he has to get away with this. Come on now, he's the main character. So, they would just ask Deku what happened. Deku would say he doesn't remember anything. So he would eventually go home. And, Bakugo at this point is like, he didn't win. He didn't win. Even though he knows he won. Because he knows that he pretty much did an attack that could have killed, Deku. And he did an attack that could have killed everybody. So he knows that he has to get that strong. So Deku will be at home, not really knowing what's going on. And as he is thinking, I have to train for the 10 months. And that's what he does, He doesn't meet All Might. He doesn't meet All Might yet. So he's training for the 10 months, and his training is always keeping his electricity quirk on. So his electricity quirk is pretty much, accelerating everything. So yeah. So Deku, during the UA entrance exam, or as he's walking to UA, he would trip, Uraku would save him, and Deku would pretty much thank her, and they would have a little conversation while walking. So Deku would pretty much go into the written exam and do it. Probably getting he got a good score. He got like a 100 because he can just put like a small electricity in your brain, which you already have. Just make your brain think faster than other people. So he would actually finish first and get 100. So he's pretty much sitting there alone at the explanation for the robots. So he has a little conversation with President Mike or whatever, and he just goes to sit down. And the rest of the class would come in and start sitting and get explained the robots. And once they do get to the gate for that and stuff, Deku was about to go and talk to Uraka, but obviously Ida had to stop him. So Ida would put his hand on Deku's arm or shoulder and tell him to stop trying to distract that girl. And Deku not really paying attention towards him because he still has his electric quirk always on. He just concealed the electricity. He kind of just shot a little lightning bolt. Just like a little, like the smallest lightning at Ida's finger. So yeah. So as he's pretty much walking towards Uraka, Ida's like, did he just use his quirk on me? Nani? And he goes to talk to Uraka, and Uraka and them, they have their little conversation. Then the gate opens, and he just says he has to go, and literally speeds off faster than Ida. And he's like, God dang, he uses quirk on me, and he's faster than me. So now Ida got some problems with him. So at this point, Deku was just jumping through robots. He doesn't even have to move at this point. At one point, he just jumps on a building and just starts looking at the robots, and they just start all melting down because he's just overcharging the electricity that is being pulled through them. And Deku is pretty much got a lot more points than Bakugo. By like 12, so he has like 70, he has like 87 points or something like that. So near the end of the match, he's about to jump off the building, but he hears a scream, and he feels like that voice is familiar. So he would look over there, and he would see the girl that he was talking to. So he just jumps off the other side and just starts going in that side. And the zero pointer, instead of crushing her, it would try to basically crush Deku. As Uraka is pretty much looking at this, she's like, yo, is he really about to die? And right as she is thinking this, Deku gets instantly crushed. And if Deku takes like a big hit, his quirk just bugs out and just accelerates by like 1,000. So that's exactly what happens. And he gets the lightning eyes, and at this point in time, his lightning was yellow, which is the first stage of this quirk. So his lightning went up to blue. So now he has the blue lightning. So Deku is already in the state that he was in, like the mode that he was in before. So now as he's pretty much tearing up this building, he would point his hand in the air and clouds would form above him, and as a lightning bolt, like a lightning bolt would pretty much come to his hand, and he would literally slice the zero pointer in half. So as he would power down, he is done powerful to the point where he can take it. It's just a big drain of energy. So he would basically pick up Uraraka and bring her to a recovery girl. So yeah, she gets healed, and Deku just exhausted, so he would just go home, sleep, and days later he would get the envelope that from UA. So he would open it, he would see, oh, it's All Might, and this is the talk with the All for One, One for All, super bad guy stuff. So yeah, and Deku actually gets told to go to UA a little before, like an hour before everybody else. So that's what he does, and he sees All Might there, and he's pretty much talking to All Might, and now he's pretty cool with All Might now. So now All Might trying to ask him if he wants to take his quirk. So with that, Deku will be thinking about it, and Deku would make the conclusion of, oh yeah, I'll give you my answer at the end of the day. So yeah, he's gonna give him his answer at the end of the day, or in a couple of days or something like that. Basically just telling All Might, yeah, you're gonna have to wait for that. And All Might was like, yeah. So once he actually does get into the class, like 20 minutes after talking to All Might, everybody would start coming to the class, and even Aizawa, he would even he was there around when Aizawa came in. So Aizawa just told him to just not bother him while he sleep. So Deku is still sitting in the same seat as people are walking in, and they're having conversations with people they know. As Uraraka would walk in, she would basically just go over there and talk to Deku and pretty much thank him for saving her, basically. And Deku would say it was no problem. It was just it was no problem. It's fine. And Deku would basically tell her that, and that's when Aizawa would basically tell him to go get outside and go do this apprehension test. One of the students would talk about what about the orientation? And Aizawa was like, no, we don't got time for that. So he would just go to the ball throw. He would hand Deku the ball throw, and since he did not see the entrance exam, he wouldn't know Deku's full power. And let's just say All Might's still there. I don't even know how he got unnoticed, but All Might's still there, and Deku throws the ball once and gets like 4,000 meters. And Aizawa is about to, basically be like, okay, you did good. Until All Might buds in and say, whoa, that wasn't full power. And he pretty much shows him the recording from, he pretty much shows him from the recording of the entrance exam, and All Might would go to Deku and pretty much use One for All in his hand and hit Deku right in the shoulder. It wasn't noticeable, okay? He didn't just straight up punch him. He didn't do no child abuse. He kind of nudged him in the arm with a lot of strength. So that would kind of make it activate the over accelerate. So Deku was already trying to over accelerate the power to get to that, but he just needed that little nudge. So Yeah, he would basically get the form of basically this, and he would basically fly into the air as, he would pretty much just speed off into the air. And that's when he has the ball in his hand, by the way. So he would just speed off into the air, and he would just take a lightning strike. He would just make it with his hand, and pretty much throw the ball in the air and make the lightning bigger and with more power, and pretty much smack the ball while being in the air, so it would go even higher. So automatically that would get like 10,000. So Bakugo seeing this, he would be mad. Todoroki wouldn't really care because he doesn't know that what score he's gonna get. So so people are amazed, even Aizawa, and basically, he would keep on getting first and everything else except for the ball throw. So Bakugo pretty much kept on getting second or third, with Todoroki getting second or third sometimes too. It's not like they would have low scores. They would still be in the 2 to 3 to thousands. But like Deku in his base form is about 4,000. So as Deku is basically pretty much getting everything, he knows that his quirk is accelerate, so he wants to try if he can basically decelerate things, making things slower. So he would try it, and this would be about the time when when Uraraka would be throwing the ball, and he would just decelerate and make everything slow down. So he was wondering if he can totally stop it or make it so slow that it seemed like it did. So he would basically do that. He would try with all his might, and he would eventually get to stopping time. And that's when Deku would basically have this evolution of lightning. So now, Deku is pretty much stopped time during Uraraka's ball throw. So he pretty much uses his quirk, runs around the world, and comes back. And that's when Uraraka throws the ball for infinity. And yeah. So that's when All Might would say, okay, now for the hero versus villains. And he would be watching the hero versus villains, and it would be Deku and Uraraka versus Todoroki and Bakugo. So yeah, Bakugo, being Bakugo, he would run for Deku, and Bakugo is doing some reckless ass shit, because he's way powerful, he's powerful, but not stronger than Deku yet, so he needs to chill. So Deku pretty much throws a quick little pretty much Bakugo throws a explosion at him, big enough to basically do damage to both of them. So Deku pretty much covers Uraraka basically with his own body, so he would get hit with the explosion, and Uraraka would basically run up the stairs and start running for that bomb. Bakugo going to try to beat up Deku. Deku already on the floor spitting up blood. he would kick Deku right in his face, and he would fly across the room. And as Bakugo was about to go for another kick while Deku was against the wall, Deku would supercharge his leg, breaking it with electricity, and he would pull the leg so he would slip, and that's when Deku would basically put his hand right near Bakugo and supercharge an electricity blast right at Bakugo, pretty much getting the same treatment. So Bakugo was incapacitated as Deku was pretty much falling out from the explosion. He basically did a whole howitzer impact right to Deku's whole body. So Deku has to accelerate his healing, but even then he's still in pain. So he is slowly walking up the stairs from his injuries, and as he would find Uraraka, with basically the biggest fucking hole in his stomach, or what used to be a big hole in his stomach. He literally looked like he died, basically. And so he would find Uraraka, and he would what's up? So they would both find the 5th floor, and that's where they're at right now, seeing Todoroki in the state that. So he would see Uraraka, and he would pretty much walk up to her as they would find the 5th floor, and Deku basically has a blown up shirt, so it's barely even on. We would just take that off as he has to fight Todoroki right now. And so he pretty much sees Uraraka, and he pretty much tries to make the plan. So he comes in so Todoroki can pay attention to him, and she can go behind the pillar and get the bomb. Todoroki would basically see Deku walk in, and Deku would start talking and say, "Let's fight." And they would have their little squabble right then and there. Then doing some little hand-to-hand combat stuff. Deku would kick Todoroki right to the side, realizing what he did at the last second. He would be able to see Uraraka. And he's like, "Uraraka, run!" And Uraraka is pretty much running at the bomb. Todoroki would shoot ice straight at her, pretty much blocking her way. And as Deku has to fight Todoroki off and break the ice for Uraraka, Todoroki is pretty much fighting Deku. And during this fight, he would be losing so badly that he would already get pushed to use fire. So he would start burning down the 5th floor building. At this point, he goes for an attack so outlandish that it pretty much could have burned down the whole building. So he does that straight to Deku, and basically the whole thing's on fire. So we can barely even get through this anymore. So all he does is pretty much break through the ice just to get away from the fire. And as it's spreading across the room, he'd basically see a window, and he would basically open it and tell Uraraka to get out of there. And he would basically accelerate his breathing, and he would breathe in so much air that he can last a couple of minutes. So Deku and him would still have a fight. Todoroki would tame his flames and stop using them, as they're pretty much still fighting. Uraraka is pretty much coughing up smoke at this point, and they're pretty much still fighting in there. She's like, "God dang, the fuck is going on?" So as Deku is pretty much using his lightning quirk, and he grabs Todoroki's left arm, he says, "This is gonna be a problem." and he pretty much pulls it and does what he did to Bakugo. Pretty much slams him over. Judo slams him, and during this, through his arm, down from his spine, he would basically electrocute him. So now he's getting electrocuted on the ground. So he would push Todoroki to start using his ice. So Todoroki would start using his ice to go try to cut Deku and get him away from him. He successfully does that, and they go back to their combat. Deku is now making lightning in his hand and trying to fight with Todoroki. At this point, he has like a lightning staff, and he's just trying to stab at Todoroki with it, as Todoroki is trying to hit him with lightning and sometimes even fire. This is such an intense fight that he totally forgot that his father even existed, because not one word was even mentioned of him. So, at this point, the bomb is still on the 5th floor, and Deku was like, yeah, the time is running out. So with only 30 seconds on the clock, Deku would do something pretty goddamn reckless. He would start to accelerate his whole body, and now he's just a fucking blur. So he would accelerate, the lightning around him and absorb a lot of lightning. And he'd been working on this move for 2 years, and this move is lightning teleportation. He can't really do it inside because he kind of has to put his hand up, like his 2 hands up, to have lightning strike and teleport him to wherever he wants to go. But it is what it is. That's what he does to the building, and pretty much put a lightning strike right through every floor of the building, and he flies straight up, or teleports straight up to the bomb. Todoroki is running up the stairs, hoping that he didn't get to the bomb. As he even steps on the first step, Hero Team win. With only 12 seconds left, Todoroki would erupt in flames if All Might would have to stop him. And, it would just be a whole crazy situation, as Bakugo was still kinda left in the fucking building. So, they would all get out of the building, and, Todoroki kinda fucked up because he got bodied, and Deku, he still has some burn marks from the fire. He did get cut a little from the ice, but, it don't really matter. So, Deku would pretty much go and watch the rest of the teams with Uraraka and the rest of the class. So, they would go on with the rest of the day. That's where I'm gonna leave this one off. Yeah. Bye.